Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Chris Kerrigan, and today on Making It with Chris, we are going to turn this into that. Let's get started. All right, today we're going to do some sous vide shrimp. And if you're not familiar with sous vide is, it's this little contraption here. This is called an immersion circulator. Sous vide cooking is where you get a bath of water up to a certain precise temperature, and you either vacuum seal or use a plastic bag to put your whatever you're cooking in, submerge that into the water. And the beauty about that is you can't overcook it. Now you can cook it too long, like these shrimp, you don't want to go for 3 hours or they'll just be mush. But we're going to cook these at 135 degrees for about 25-30 minutes, and they're going to have the most perfect pop, and the flavor is going to be so amazing, and we're just going to doctor it up with a couple of things. Now don't worry if you don't have an immersion circulator, stick around to the end. I'll walk you through how to do it with just a stock pot and a thermometer. So basically, if you can heat water on a stove, you can sous vide. All right, so what we're going to do first is we're going to put the shrimp into a plastic bag. And if you notice, these shrimp are still frozen. That's the beauty of this cooking method as well. You can go right from the freezer into a zipper bag, just like so. And to that, we're going to add some ingredients. What do we have here? Well, we've got some parsley, we've got some garlic, we've got butter, lemon juice, lemon zest from one lemon, and we've got some red pepper flakes. That's it. So we're going to pour all the garlic in here. Get that in there. Oh, hi, Sadie. And then we're going to put 4 tablespoons of butter in there, just like that. Our half a lemon juice, freshly squeezed. Lemon zest, zest of 1 lemon. Teaspoon, or as much as you like, of crushed red pepper. And I'm going to use, let's call this 2 tablespoons of parsley. Now I've got some more I'm going to use for garnish at the end. So put all this in the bag. Now, if you're not, you can use a vacuum sealer, which works really well. But if you don't have a vacuum sealer and you just want to use a zipper bag, I highly recommend using a freezer zipper bag. Try to get everything in one layer, and you're going to zip it up almost completely to the end. I'm going to leave a little spot here because we're going to use the Archimedes principle, or displacement, to the water pressure to get the rest of the air out, so this will actually be submerged and it won't float. So how you do that? Throw this in here, and ideally you want to do this before you get all the way up to temp, so that you don't burn your hands, which I'm not. I feel like I've got Teflon hands. And once you get them in, get them situated, 135 for 25 minutes. We don't have to do anything. It's gonna, that temperature, all that water at 135 is going to cook them gently, melt the butter, and they're gonna be delicious. All right, we'll come back in 25 minutes and see what we've got. Okay, it's been 25 minutes and we are ready to take these shrimp out. So I've got the Joule app here. You can see that, and that's the name of this, Joule by Chef Steps. There's a number of immersion circulators. You've got Polyscience, really popular one, and one that I would highly recommend, even though I don't own it, is the Innova Culinary. It's a great machine. This one is based on, you've got to use your app. There's no other way to turn it on. So if you have any type of issues, what are you going to do about dinner? So Innova Culinary, shout out to them, even though I don't own it. So we're going to go ahead and stop the app. Okay, turn off Betty. I named this one Betty after Betty Crocker. So here's what our shrimp look like. Go ahead and wipe this off a bit, maybe give you a top down view. I mean, just look how gorgeous that is. Now we've done it with the shells on, and I highly recommend to do that because you're going to get more flavor with the shells. Kind of if you ever make like a seafood stock, you know, you're going to use lobster shells, clam, crab shells, whatnot, and the same thing. You're just going to add a little bit more depth of flavor when you use the shells. So because of that, we've got a little bit of work to do. You could certainly do this with shells off, and you could skip this step, but we're gonna go ahead and let me just show you how I peel a shrimp. I'm not gonna do the whole bag for you, but basically you've got your shrimp here. Go ahead and when you buy shrimp, they're already slit down the back, so they've been cleaned and deveined. And I like to take all the shell off, so I just pinch at the bottom and pull. A lot of times you see that they leave that little tail end on so you can eat it. And, well, I think I will. That's really good. Flavor of the butter. The texture's perfect. And that's the beauty of doing it sous vide. And like I said, just stick around. I'll show you how you can do it if you don't have an immersion circulator or don't want to buy one. So let me go ahead and get these shrimp peeled, and then I'll show you the next step. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the shrimp peeled. There's the shells. We're going to do another step, and I reserve the liquid because this is going to make a fantastic sauce. And we're going to serve this with some bread to soak up that sauce, and it's going to be just amazing. So, turn on my handy dandy burner here, and to that, you're going to let that heat up just for a second, and then we're going to add a little bit of wine. Now, if you don't want to use wine, that's fine. You can use chicken stock, or just use the liquid from the shrimp. That would be fine. The wine's going to add just a little bit of a pop, and to that we're going to add the butter and the rest of the parsley. Okay, so that's the pan's kind of heated up just for a couple minutes here. Go ahead and add that wine. We're going to let the alcohol cook off, let that reduce just a bit, and then we're going to add the juices to that. So, excuse me while I put that in the sink. Oh, this is such a good dish. It's so fresh, very good summer, spring. Hey, if you're sick of winter and want to taste the summer, this is a great way to do that. And like I said earlier, you can go right from frozen with the shrimp. So you don't have to have fresh gulp shrimp, which a lot of us don't have access to. There we go, that's all we need to do. And now we're going to pour everything in there. We're going to let this come up to a simmer. There's a lot of water that was in that, and we want to kind of steam off just a little bit of that before we get going. So as you can see from this overhead shot, things are really starting to get a little active. Things are simmering away. And like I said, we're just going to let this go for a little bit, remove some of that excess moisture, all the water from it, and we're going to add a tablespoon of butter after we turn the heat off. Then we're going to add the shrimp back to that, then we're going to pour it in a bowl, then we're going to have some bread, then we're going to eat, we're going to be happy, our bellies are going to thank us. And like I said, hang out and I'll show you how to do it if you don't have an immersion circulator just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off to the cold, or excuse me, off the heat. We're going to, don't want to fog up that lens. I've done this before. I think we're okay. We're going to add a tablespoon of butter. And we're just going to swirl that around until it incorporates. Just like so. The heat from the pan, there's more than enough heat to melt this butter. And when you add cold butter to drippings like this, It's going to make a silky kind of gravy sauce. Aesthetically, it's very pleasing. Remember, first we eat with our eyes. And when that butter's all incorporated, just about, we'll call that good. I'm going to add the shrimp back and any of the juices that had accumulated with that, just like so. Give that a little stir. And then comes the rest of the parsley that we had chopped up. I told you we were going to use this later. This is just going to give it a nice little fresh pop. And I think I'm probably going to need just a touch of fresh ground pepper, kind of balance all that acidity out. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look amazing. I've got 2 dogs right here. They think it smells great. One thing I will point out, if you were to boil shrimp, you see how, have you ever had those shrimp that just curl up into like a C, a really tight C shape? Well, those are overcooked. And these are more relaxed. You're only cooking at 135 degrees. If you would have cooked these at boiling, 212 degrees, that would have instantly been, overcooking them. So this is what we got. Let's go ahead and pour these off into a bowl, and we'll give them a nice taste test. All right. Okay. Now that we've got everything plated, let's go ahead and give this a try. I already know it's going to be amazing. The shrimp is perfect. It has that nice crunchy bite, but not rubbery. And the flavors from the sauce, just out of this world. And honestly, this part right here with the bread, so good. You can serve this like just as it is, as an appetizer, or put it over some pasta, some risotto, whatever you like. But to me, this is a great light summer dish with a little bit of bread, a glass of wine, and it's phenomenal. All right. Now, I told you if you didn't have an immersion circulator, how are you going to do this? Take a stock pot, fill it full of water, put it on the stove, heat it up to 135, so you need a thermometer as well. Once it gets to let's take it, 135 is the temperature you want. Take it to 140, because when you put a pound of shrimp in that bag into the water, it's going to drop about 5 degrees, depending on how much water you have in there. And then check your temperature every 10 minutes. If it starts to get a little bit below, turn it up to medium, turn it off. And just check the temperature every 10 minutes, and you're going to end up with perfectly cooked shrimp, just like this. And you're going to just be amazed. So until next time, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Cheers.